This is what you can normally expect to see in many black communities across America on June 19, otherwise known as Juneteenth. On this day in 1865, 2.5 years after President Abraham Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation, Major General Gordon Granger brought the news to Galveston, Texas. It was one of the last cities in the surrendered South to hear that the Civil War had ended and that all those enslaved were now free. The announcement meant joyous celebrations. But this June 19th, things are going to look different.
Don't shoot! How you doing? Don't shoot!
Protests, sit-ins, and calls to action are planned from coast to coast to highlight how the official end of enslavement did little to protect black Americans from what is still considered to be deeply embedded systemic racism.
No peace! No justice!
That racism, they say, is precisely what led to the deaths of 2 unarmed black men at the hands of white police officers in Minnesota and Georgia in the past 3 weeks. Since then, the U.S. has seen historic mass mobilization, and things are changing. Some of the biggest multinational companies in the world have decided to make Juneteenth a paid day off as part of their efforts to recognize and remedy racial inequality. Until this week, Texas was the only state to recognize Juneteenth as a holiday. Now, Virginia and New York have declared they will do the same.
Some might say changing a state holiday is merely a symbolic action. But symbols do matter. If they didn't, people wouldn't be fighting so hard to keep Confederate flags and statues up. Symbols show what we value.
One of these symbols is the newly renamed Black Lives Matter Plaza in front of the White House. But in the U.S. Capitol, where nearly half the population is black, Juneteenth is mostly just another day. The District of Columbia has its own Emancipation Day holiday in April.
Governments across the country can look at creating racial equity policies or offices or commissions to look at some of the disparities in our cities. And so as much as the celebratory and the symbolic pieces matter, we also have to double down on our budgets, on our policies, and our commitments to the community.
Democratic U.S. Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas is now introducing a bill to make Juneteenth a federal holiday. The Republican-dominated Senate will have to sign on before such a bill goes to the president's desk. It may come as no surprise that it's taken this long to start considering June 19th as America's second Independence Day. After all, the U.S. took the very rare step of apologizing for slavery just 11 years ago, after Barack Obama became president. Yasmine El-Sabawi, TRT World, Washington.